Gadadhara Govinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, Text 45. Tam tu te avanatam dinam.
Tam tu te avanatam dinam.
Kim karo miti vadinam.
Kim karomi vadinam.
Nishiti abruvam stat.
Nishiteti abruvam stata.
Nishadastato abhavat.
Sa nishadastato abhavat.
He was very submissive and meek, and immediately after his birth, he bowed down and inquired, Sirs, what shall I do? The great sages replied, Please sit down, Nishida. Thus, Nishida, the father of the Nishad race, was born. It is said in the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is said in the Shastras that the head of the body represents the Brahmanas, the arms represents the Kshatriyas, the abdomen represents the Vaishyas, and the legs, beginning with the thighs, represent the Shudras. So the universal body of the Lord, the universal form of the Lord, the head, what does the head represent?
Brahmanas.
That's right. Why?
Because of their
knowledge.
Yeah, because of their intelligence.
That's right. Yeah. And the arms?
Kshatriyas.
Kshatriyas.
For the war, like.
Because they hold the instruments in hand.
Yeah,
All
they
the instruments we hold in hand.
Arms for fighting, right?
Yeah, protecting. Yeah.
Protecting.
That's right. Yeah. And abdomen?
Vaishyas.
Why is that?
Because they represent for the farming and taking care of the cows and everything. So that's for the stomach.
That's right. That's right. And the legs?
Shudras.
And why is that?
The Shudras are the lowest of the class. And they work for service.
Yes. Yeah. So the Shudras are sometimes called black or Krishna. The Brahmanas are called Shukla or white, and the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas are a mixture of black and white. However, those who are extraordinarily white are said to have skin produced out of white leprosy. It may be concluded that white or a golden hue is the color of the higher caste and black is the complexion of the Shudras. So now because his Bahuka he's born from the body of Vena. Tasya vamshayastu nishada.
Tasya vamshayastu nishada.
Giri kanana gochara.
Giri kanana
gochara.
Yena harajayamano.
Yena harajayamano.
Vena kalmasham ulbanam.
Vena
After his Nishada's birth, he immediately took charge of the resultant actions of King Vena's sinful activities. As such, this Nishad class are always engaged in sinful activities like stealing, plundering, and hunting. Consequently, they are only allowed to live in the hills and forests. The Nishadas are not allowed to live in cities and towns because they are sinful by nature. As such, their bodies are very ugly and their occupations are also sinful. We should, however, know that even these sinful men, who are sometimes called Kiratas, can be delivered from their sinful condition to the topmost Vaishnava platform by the mercy of a pure devotee. So the idea is, whatever is one's background, whatever is one's background, one can be situated in Krishna consciousness, because after all, we are all living entities, parts and parcel of Krishna. No matter how sinful our background is, we can all come to Krishna. We can all take up the process of hearing and chanting. And that is the mercy of the pure devotee. They are giving us Krishna consciousness. Engagement in the transcendental, loving, devotional service of the Lord can make anyone, however sinful he may be, fit to return home, back to Godhead. It's everyone's right, birthright, to perform devotional service. Doesn't matter where we are born from, how sinful we are, whatever is our color, whatever is our race, there is no barrier. All the Shastras say that. Everyone can engage in hearing and chanting about the Lord. One has, because after all, we are not this body, no? We are the spirit soul. We are just getting these different bodies from, with this evolutionary process. One has only to become free from all contamination by the process of devotional service. So how can we get free from all this contamination?
By devotional service.
That's right. And devotional service begins by
listening and
By
chanting.
chanting, yeah.
That's right.
Hearing and chanting.
Hearing and chanting. That's right. Hearing and chanting. So no matter, this is Lord Chaitanya's process. Lord Chaitanya is freely giving the mercy. Lord Nityananda is freely giving the mercy. 500 years ago, there was only Jaga and Madai, one Jaga and Madai. Now, the world, we are full. We are all Jaga and Madai. And Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they are imploring us. They are freely giving us this mercy. In this way, everyone can become fit to return home, back to Godhead. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 9:32. Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye apisyu papayo nahe striyo vaishyas tatha shudras te api yanti param gatem. O son of Pṛthu, those who take shelter of me, though they be of lower birth, women, vaishyas, merchants, as well as shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Story of King Vena. So by this, we are able to understand that how Vena, he misused his position. He could have used his position righteously, developed his own spiritual consciousness, taken care of the citizens nicely because he had very good guidance. The sages were there, but out of his pride, he did not want to take the guidance. And that's the reason the sages killed him. And also, we are understanding the mercy of the pure devotee, that they are very compassionate on us. They're always concerned about our welfare, and they want us to all go back home, back to Godhead, as soon as we can. Chapter
One more
15.
question. Sorry, one more
Yes.
question. So the body of Vena was preserved
still there.
and then it's still there.
It's still there. Now we're going to see. So first this Bahuka came out, from who the Nishadas came. Now we are going to still read further what's going to happen in this
Okay.
chapter 15. King Pṛthu's appearance and coronation.
Okay.
Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Atha tasya panarvipre.
Atha tasya punarvipre.
Aputrasya mahipate.
Tasya mahipate.
Bahu bhayam madhyamanabhyam.
Bahubhyam madhyamabhyam.
Mithunam samapadyata.
Samapadyata.
The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidu. Thus the Brahmanas and the great sages again churned the 2 arms of King Vena's dead body. As a result, a male and female couple came out of his arms. So when they churned his thighs, came the nishadas, the bahuka. And now they're churning his arms. And one male and female have appeared. Tad drishtva mithunam jatam.
Tadrish
Tadrishtva mithunam jatam.
Rishayo brahmavadina.
Rashayo
Yo brahmavadina.
Uchya parama santushta.
Ucha
Uchai parama santushta.
Viditva bhagavat kalam.
Viditva
Viditva bhagavat kalam.
The great sages were highly learned in Vedic knowledge. When they saw the male and female born of the arms of Vena's body, they were very pleased, for they could understand that the couple was an expansion of a plenary portion of Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The method adopted by the great sages and scholars who were learned in Vedic knowledge was perfect. They removed all the reactions of King Vena's sinful activities by seeing that King Vena first gave birth to Bahuka, described in the previous chapter. After King Vena's body was thus purified, a male and female came out of it, and the great sages could understand that this was an expansion of Lord Vishnu. This expansion, of course, was not Vishnu Tattva, but a specifically empowered expansion of Lord Vishnu known as Avesha. So Vena was very sinful, but he was coming from the family of Dhruv Maharaj. So he had all those, those excellent heritage, the very excellent heritage, and his father was King Anga. And then, but he was sinful, he had so many sinful reactions. So the sages first, they removed the sinful reactions by letting Bahuka come out of the body of King Vena. Now that his sinful reactions are all gone, now they're producing a male and a female child. Now this male child, what is mentioned, he's an expansion of Lord Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu Tattva. He's a Shakti-Avesh avatar. So he's a Jiva Tattva, but he's specifically empowered by the Supreme Lord. So this is one kind of incarnation of the Lord, which is called Shakti-Avesh avatar. Shakti-Avesh avatar means not a personal expansion of Krishna, not Vishnu Tattva, is still Jiva Tattva, but is specifically empowered by the Lord to do certain specific duties or specific pastimes or activities. Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any comments?
Avisha, right? It's called Avisha.
Avesha or Shakti Avesh, both. Yeah.
Satya Avish.
Shakti Avesh. Shakti, no? Like energy.
Yeah.
Shakti Avesh. Shakti Avesh
Okay.
avatar. So this Pṛthu Maharaj is a Shakti Avesh avatar of the Lord. We can see, that no one can declare themselves to be just an expansion of Krishna or incarnation of Krishna. They have to be mentioned in the revealed scriptures, in the authorized scriptures. And the authorities have to confirm it. Because, in Kali Yuga, we all want to say we are Krishna. And then we hear of so many people declaring that, oh, we are incarnation of God. But the Shastras teach us how we can actually understand who is really an incarnation. So the Shastras, they declare it, and it is confirmed by the authorities. The
So
great
Pṛthu
authority.
Maharaj is the male.
That's right. Yeah.
Male. Right?
Yeah.
Male. Okay.
Yes. Pṛthu Maharaj is the male, and in the Navanga Bhakti, he is an example for deity worship. Deity worship, that he did such good archana, deity worship. Like
So
how
the
we
female
have,
one is not mentioned yet.
not yet.
The female,
Let's
not
see
yet. Okay.
Not yet. let's hear, let's hear
Yeah.
further. Rashaya Ucca
Rishaya Uchu
Esha Vishnur Bhagavata
Esha
Vishnu Bhagavata
Kala Bhuvana Palini
Kala Bhuvana Palini
Yam Cha Lakshmiya Sambhuti
Iyam
Lakshmiya Sambhuti
Purushasya Na Payani.
Purushyana Paya.
The great sages said, the male is a plenary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu. Plenary expansion of the power of Lord Vishnu, who maintains the entire universe, and the female is a plenary expansion of the goddess of fortune, who is never separated from the Lord. So wherever there is Lord Vishnu, there is Lakshmi Devi. So wherever there is an incarnation, empowered incarnation, that's where goddess of fortune is there. The significance of the goddess of fortunes never being separate from the Lord is clearly mentioned herein. People in the material world are very fond of the goddess of fortune, and they want her favor in the form of riches. They should know, however, that the goddess of fortune is inseparable from Lord Vishnu. So we all want Lakshmi Devi, but we forget that the easiest way that we can get the grace of Lakshmi Devi is when we attract the grace of Lord Vishnu, because she's always wherever her husband is. She's a very chaste wife. So a chaste wife follows her husband. So materialists should understand that the goddess of fortune should be worshipped along with Lord Vishnu and should not be regarded separately. We may think that Lakshmi Devi, she's independent. We may think she's independent, so we may like to worship her alone by herself. But the way to worship her is actually together with Narayan, like Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram, Radha Krishna. Materialists seeking the favor of the goddess of fortune must worship Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi together to maintain material opulence. If a materialist follows the policy of Rama, who wanted to separate Sita from Lord Ramachandra, process of separation will vanquish him. So if we separately worship Lakshmi Devi and disregard Lord Vishnu, then we are being compared to Ravan. So sure, we may get Lakshmi Devi's mercy for some time, maybe, but eventually her mercy will be taken away because she's chanchal. She's chanchal. She doesn't stay in one place, but she's always wherever Lord Vishnu is. Those who are very rich and have taken favor of the goddess of fortune in this world must engage their money in the service of the Lord. In this way, they can continue in the opulent position without disturbance. So worshipping Lakshmi Narayan together. That is the way of getting the grace of Lakshmi Ji. Ayam tu prathamo rajan.
Ayam tu
Ragya
Rajnam
Puman prathayita yashah.
Puman Pṛthu
Pṛthur nama maharajo.
Pṛthu Nama Maharaj
Bhavishyati Pṛthushrabaha.
Bhavishyati Pravaha.
Of the two, the male will be able to expand his reputation throughout the world. His name will be Pṛthu. Indeed, he will be the first among kings. There are different types of incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shastras, it is said that Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva and Ananta are all very powerful incarnations of the Brahman feature of the Lord. So the Shastras are saying that Garuda, Lord Vishnu always, his carrier is Garuda. No? And Lord Shiva and Ananta Shesh, they are powerful incarnations of the Brahman feature. So they are incarnations of the light, the Brahman. Similarly, Shachipati or Indra, the king of heaven, is an incarnation of the lusty feature of the Lord. So we may say, lusty feature of the Lord, how can the Lord have anything? But then how can something exist which does not exist in the Lord? Everything exists in the Lord in its pure form. That's the reason we can see, because everything has its origin in Krishna. Everything. There's nothing that exists that does not have its origin in Krishna. Because then people might say, oh, but he's God. Yes, but the way to understand God is that he's unlimited. He's all encompassing. How is it that we can have something that God cannot have? Then that means we are trying to show that we are greater than God. So this is how we can understand. Anirudh is an incarnation of the Lord's mind. Similarly, King Pṛthu is an incarnation of the ruling force of the Lord. Ruling force. Thus, the saintly persons and great sages predicted the future activities of King Pṛthu, who was already explained as a partial incarnation of a plenary expansion of the Lord. Yeah. So he's an incarnation of the ruling force of the Lord. Iyam cha sudati devi.
Iyam cha sudati devi.
Guna bhushana bhushana.
Guna bhushana bhushana.
Archir nama vararoha.
Achir nama vararoha.
Pṛthum eva vrundati.
Pṛthum eva varundati.
The female has such beautiful teeth and beautiful qualities that she will actually beautify the ornaments she wears. Her name will be Archi. In the future, she will accept King Pṛthu as her husband. So the sages, they know, they can see the future, and so they are predicting what's going to happen. Now, we wear ornaments to beautify us. We want to look beautiful, so we wear different types of ornaments, and different types of makeup. But here, she is wearing the ornaments and beautifying the ornaments. The ornaments look more beautiful because of her. We hear these descriptions also in regard to Krishna and Srimati Radharani, that the jewels look more beautiful because they are being worn by Krishna and they are being worn by Srimati Radharani. So we'll stop here for today. Is that okay?
Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.